And welcome back, everybody. This is Movies and Beyond. I am Callum. This is Kyle. Kyle, it just keeps getting worse for Joker 2 Folie à Deux. I know it's not Joker 2 Folie à Deux, but I like the rhyme, so I want to say it like that. Joker 2 Folie à Deux.
I like to I've thought of a name for it myself actually that I've been saying quite often whenever I talk about this film. I call it Joker. It's fucking shit.
Mate, you're the only person who seems to like it.
I know.
Remember,
I thought
your quote's
that-
going up back at box, mate. It was alright, I guess.
Yeah, I know. I still think that'd be a funny shot actually. Yeah, I might do that when when it comes out on streaming.
Yeah.
Do a little shot for that.
Now, Kyle, we already know that the box office for Joker 2 Folie à Deux was not the best. Look, I'm not going to say it's a flop because $200 million budget, it made like 130 million worldwide. It's now sitting at 160 million worldwide. It could possibly get to the 200 million. Nah, I ain't getting to its 200 million. It's going to lose money. But it's broken a record, Kyle. Do you know what record that is?
I don't know. I heard this. I heard about this.
It has had the biggest second weekend drop in comic book movie history. It has dethroned the Marvels. The Marvels held this title for around 11 months now. And then Joker came in and was like, that's mine. The Marvels had a 78% drop. Joker 2 had an 81% drop. So, what do we think this is? Bad word of mouth? Literally, I've got, people know me at work. They know me, the film guy, right? That's my name, Callum, the film guy. They don't call me out else. They don't call me a cunt, because they all love me, I swear. They come up and they say, Callum, that new Joker film, is it good? I say, well, one, it's a musical, and right away that turns a few people and I go, two, the more I think about it, Kyle, the more I hate this film. It might be the worst film I've seen this year, and I saw 45 minutes of Madam Web. So,
Look, you know where I stand with this film. I really don't see why it's getting all this super bad hate. I understand why it's getting the hate and the dislike of this film, but to the extent that it's gone, I kind of do and don't understand it. I get it. The first film, for a lot of people,
was for the edgelords.
it was, well, I find, for me at least, everyone I've spoken to, I don't know if it's that movie effect of, I think, like the Star Wars prequels, it's like you give it a bit of time and you start to like them then a couple of years afterwards. So that's where I think this has come from.
Luckily, I don't need this for the rest of the show. It just fucking fell off its start.
Is it alright?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. So, yeah, this film was very... It was very up in the air, even when it was getting shot, and, people... When we found out when it was a musical, some people were on board, some people were like, why? Some people were like, why the fuck is this film even going to happen? Because the number one thing I remember talking to people about and hearing about was Joker 1 just needs to be that. It doesn't need a sequel. It doesn't need to become a franchise. There's nowhere really for it to go. It was fine as a standalone solo Joker film.
Yes.
Fine. This, though, it had all the things going for it. The musical element, the obviously the casting of Harley Quinn as Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn. Joaquin Phoenix coming back, Todd Phillips coming back. It had everything sort of going for it. And I think that's why a lot of people are really hating on this film hard, because they probably did have their expectations set up to be quite high.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that this has happened. You can watch our review. Callum fucking despises the film. I don't think it's as bad as everyone's saying. It's not great. It's still a bad movie, but it's entertaining. You can sit through it. You're not going to be sat there like how you would be in Morbius or Madam Web. You can actually sit through the film. Because the performances, I think the performances are the thing that keeps me engaged, at least, for the film.
Yeah. look, they do good with what they're given. That's what I said, you know. Obviously, his performance is nowhere near as good as the one for the first film. But that's because of what he's given to work with. But, yeah. I think it's definitely all comes down to terrible word of mouth. Like I say, and I'm not even saying this as like a joke, Kyle. Your review of it is the most positive I've heard of you saying it's a bad film, but it's not that bad. That is the most positive review I've heard of this film.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. That's why you're getting on the back of the 4K Blu-ray.
Hell yeah. Hey, get the name out there. Get the movies in there beyond.
Definitely.
Name out there.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I think we both agree, though. You know, we're talking about it, obviously, in a negative light. We don't like the film, but it's just, to us, it's sad, and it would have been nice if this film was good.
Exactly.
And it got the praise and love and stuff like that. But unfortunately, it hasn't worked out, because I would have loved for there to be DC's, obviously, James Gunn's universe, the Batman, which is going to sort of set up, from what I'm hearing now, it's going to set up its own Gotham universe on a separate spectrum of the... Yeah, I'm up for that as well. But Joker could have been its own thing too. Just, you know, maybe a couple of films, solo films. That's it. Just you know, maybe a trilogy, a push. But, you know, they fumbled it. We're definitely not getting a third one. And I think I was painting some Warhammer yesterday, and I was listening to John Campier, who's a fucking phenomenal YouTuber. We're big fans. And he put it in the best way possible. Joker 2 feels like it could have been cut down to that end scene and been like a post-credit scene to the first film. Like, there wasn't really any need, there was no substance to this film. It didn't take it anywhere. Because the biggest disappointment for me with this film, Callum, it was Harley Quinn.
Yeah, look, and that was the biggest disappointment for me as well, like, all round, and the musical elements not hitting like I wanted them to. Like, I don't hate this film because it's a musical. You go back, watch this channel. That was the thing I was the most excited about for this film. I think the reason we're talking about this right now is because this needs to be studied of, like, this was supposed to be the next film this year that could have possibly hit $1 billion. This was supposed to be the next big box office film. And now, in its second weekend, it's in 4th place behind Beetlejuice 2 that came out 6 weeks ago. And it just goes to show you that word of mouth is a big thing. Because I think if people came out saying this thing is the, you know, oh my god, this is the best thing we've seen. Let's see. I'm going to say something that I think a lot of people loved. Everyone at work, they come up to me now that they're seeing it on digital and stuff like that, saying they love it, best film of the year. If people would have come out of this and saying, oh, this is the best film since Deadpool and Wolverine, I'm not saying it'd hit $1 billion, but it wouldn't be losing this much money.
Yeah, no, I've got a question for you. So,
ask.
Obviously, the first one, it was meant to be sort of just a one and done.
Yes.
You know, throughout the success that it got, that's why we got the sequel. Where do you stand currently with movies that are meant to be just a one and done, but if it was successful, it gets a sequel? Where do you stand with that? Do you think that they should continue it? You know, do what they did here, risk it, or just keep the one and done? Because Barbie is another one where people, you know, were hearing about, oh, there could be a sequel to that.
But that's different as well, though, because we're hearing a lot of the thing with Barbie is, well, I won't stay on this for long, a lot of the thing we're hearing from Barbie is Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig are interested in it, and Warner Brothers is going to do it without them. That's completely different. This was, Todd Phillips was in. Joaquin Phoenix came back. He was like, I like the script, let's do it. And that's what got me pumped. And, you know, I've always been that big proponent of, who cares? Let them make another one. If they want to make it. The same, we've having this debate with John Wick 5, which we might talk about a little bit later down the road, is, you know, I'm happy with where they left it. Definitely. I would be happy if they never made a John Wick film. But Chad Stahelski and Keanu Reeves, They want to do another. I'm in for it. Now, I'm completely off, going off as well, though, that Chad Stahelski has given us 4 great John Wick films. So a 5th one's not that much of a stretch. We've got a really great Joker, but if you look at Todd Phillips' record, he's not good with sequels.
Well, here's the thing, though, Callum, though, as well. People didn't, a lot... When Joker came out, it was still quite mixed. Yeah, it made $1 billion, and a lot of people did praise it, but a lot of people didn't like it as well.
I think a lot of people... I think you bring this up to me all the time, is it's kind of misunderstood, how much the first Joker films loved. I love the first Joker film. I do. But it's not universally loved. I'm going to get a lot of flack for saying this as well. A film that I would say is universally loved. I don't think this is the best Marvel film or alt like that, but I'd say people always talk about it in a positive light. Avengers Endgame. Everyone will, obviously I'm not saying everyone, but there's some people who don't like it, but I would say a majority of people like Avengers Endgame. The general going movie audience who don't dive too deep into things. I've got issues with Endgame, but I still love the film. So, it's a hard one. At the end of the day, I'm just upset. Because we say this on the channel all the time. We never want a film to be bad. If every film was good, guess what? We would get to go out every weekend and see something that's fucking amazing. And that would be...
It would be fucking great.
Yeah.
I just say though as well. I am really glad they sort of turned away from the whole, Arthur Fleck being related to Bruce Wayne and that sort of weird.
It's kind of like they just forgot about that plot.
Yeah, it definitely felt very disconnected from that. It goes to show they did listen to people because, as much as people really enjoyed the film, the one thing that a lot, I'm pretty sure most people complained about was the whole him related to Bruce Wayne thing. I mean, if it was done in a really great way, if it was done well, but something like that with, you've got the lore of these characters and the comic books and stuff, and with it being Joker's first appearance, you kind of don't want to, you want to keep it safe, but you also still want to do something new. But doing that, something that's completely new and different, it's not a good way to do your first adaptation of, not Joker on screen, but a solo Joker film.
Yeah, look,
his first debut as
and right now as well, we've got Penguin on the TV that's absolutely killing it. So I'm not saying don't do solo Batman villain stuff because it can work. Episode I've just watched.
Yeah, just don't do it like how Sony is, though.
Yeah, don't do it like that. Even though I'm really excited for Venom and I don't know why.
I'm getting more excited for that film. Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, let's usher on to our next topic. Joker, folie à deux. You will be missed, and you will be hopefully forgotten. This is coming to us, Kyle, from Production Weekly, so there's a bit of validity to this. These are like production things that studios have to file, before they get into production for stuff. It's looking like it's 100% confirmed now that Sam Raimi is back. Charlize Theron coming back as Clea. Obviously Benedict Cumberbatch, Benedict Wong back as Wong. One thing that he does mention in this slip, which I've read, I'll send it over to you after the show if you want, so you can have a read of it. Denzel Washington as Dormammu. Now, obviously, we've had Dormammu before in Doctor Strange. And then I'll say this as well.
Played by Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes. Take this with a grain of salt. This might not be true. It might just be... It might be a load of bullshit. But let's speak about this like it's real for now. Right? Let's speak about this like the casting's just come out. Kyle, Denzel Washington's just been cast as Dormammu. Is that a yes or a no from you?
100% a yes.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said as well, I don't want to see. I want him to be the full You know, I love Denzel. I love the presence he brings whenever he's on screen. But if he's going to play this character, I want him to be this character. I don't want, you know, I would love to see sort of Denzel pop up as well as himself without any sort of like CGI or whatever. I'd love him to pop up as a character in the MCU, where you can actually just sort of like see the actual
Yeah.
the actor rather than playing, you know, doing the mocap and the voice and whatnot. So I still think that's obviously definitely still an option. You know, he could pop up as a not as himself, obviously, but as a character where he actually
Hey up,
plays.
it's me, Denzel Washington, Tony Stark, Iron Man.
That's what I want, though. I do not want this to be, you know, as it kind of worked and it was okay for Ego.
Yeah.
It kind of works, but I don't want to see that the way they do the character again. I don't want them to make Dormammu the same size as a regular human being. Just have him be, because that's one of the great
Big and
things I
out
loved
there.
about Eternals. Yeah, that's one of the great things I loved about Eternals is, you know, when you got the Celestials and they're talking to the Eternals, they stay that size and they have that voice and presence, and it's something bold and different. I would love Denzel to shine on that aspect and really give it a lot of oomph playing as Dormammu, but he needs to still have that big presence now. Yeah, it's kind of staying as CGI and whatnot, but again, it's a comic book film. Just give it to us.
This kind of reminds me of like one of the last times we heard that one of the greatest actors ever is going to be playing a villain in a Marvel project, and that's with Christian Bale as Gore, the God Butcher. So much wasted potential there, I feel. So, you know, just because we're hearing that these big names are attached doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be great. But I am excited for this. I'm a little bit thingy of what you're saying. Obviously, Dormammu can create his forms. You know what he created his form off Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange, because that's all he had reference to from that universe. So, you know, maybe he's watched a couple of Denzel Washington movies now, like Training Day and Man on Fire, and he's like, he is the man. I'll be Denzel Washington.
Yeah, but again, I just, you know, it kind of worked, like I say, with Guardians 2, because Ego could turn into David fucking Hasselhoff, which was just like a funny little thing, but it did as well hit with the character of Star-Lord, obviously the father figure and whatnot. But yeah, no, definitely, I would really just rather Dormammu stay as this big presence,
Like big
like they
Galactus
did.
sort of eternal, celestial sort of big sort of person.
Yeah, just something that's new and different. And you know, again, I'm all for practical. I'm all for sort of like having actors being there and performing. But I mean, look at all the great performances we've got with CGI characters. You know, Caesar with obviously Andy Serkis. You've got David, you know, Cumberbatch playing as obviously the
Dragon, Smaug.
That's it, yeah. And obviously he played Dormammu in the first Doctor Strange film, so that's where I stand with it. I want to see a performance with that character, that presence. You know, just go full comic book.
You're
with
missing
it.
the perfect one in relation to Marvel. Brolin as Thanos. Every time we came out of that, we was like, he looks so real. You can see the hairs on the top of his head, just the little thin hairs. So
if they can manage to balance out something akin to Thanos, where he could be humanoid or whatever, but just have him be big, have him have like a cool look to him, have him just sort of have that presence that the Celestials had. So that's where I stand with it, anyways.
If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure Clear and Dormammu have some form of relation. I'm pretty sure he's like a uncle, if I'm remembering correctly. So that'll be pretty cool to see, because obviously Clear's got a physical form as well, because she pops in at the end of Doctor Strange and is like, "Oh, Mr. Strange, we need to go stop some of them incursions." And he's like,
Yeah.
Let me get my third eye on and let's go fuck this bitch.
Well, here's the thing, though. You got Sam Raimi obviously directing this. It makes perfect sense to have a big CGI character with played by Denzel Washington, because look at the creature designs and the aesthetic we got in Multiverse of Madness. Now,
Yeah.
you know where I stand with this film. I enjoyed it, but it was a tough cookie for Sam Raimi, and I don't hate the film, and it's difficult. It's difficult, but
I'd love him to go full Evil Dead, like in this one. Just going through dimensions, weird fucking ghouls. I want that.
yeah, we'll have to wait and see, anyways. But Denzel Washington showing up in this film, I'm up for it. Yeah,
Yeah, me too. I'm also up for it. Anything that's going to give me some Denzel Washington, I am up for. Anyway, Kyle, should we move on to our next topic?
let's do it.
Let's do it. The Ballerina. We got a fucking spectacular trailer for this about 3 weeks ago. And I think there's a reason why the trailer was spectacular. This is coming to us from The Wrap. We're getting some more news about what happened with the reshoots. Yeah, it ain't looking good for the director, Len Wiseman. He didn't do the reshoots. Apparently, Chad Stahelski himself reshot a large majority of this film. So
I was gonna say that the trailer gives me Chad Stahelski vibes.
Yeah.
Just the way it looks, the feel of it.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
if you look at Len Wiseman's like filmography, like stuff he's done a lot of the Underworld movies. You know, not the best, stuff that he's done. So when this trailer came out, I was like, he's done a good job here, and I'm really excited for this. Now, this is going to sound horrible, but the fact that Chad Stahelski has reshot most of this gets me more excited for it. Because it's like, oh, this is just John Wick then. We know they've added more Keanu. I was already excited for Ana de Armas in this. But what do you think this means for John Wick spin-offs in the future? Obviously, we know we got the Kane one coming. Do you think maybe they might not, I'm pretty sure the Kane one was announced after the reshoots were announced for the Ballerina anyway. But do you think Stahelski's going to have more of like a control in this world?
Well, here's the thing. It's difficult. I think because I don't want to get any hate for this. I'm just speaking.
People hate you anyway. So
the John Wick films, as big as they are, and they get bigger and bigger every time, they're not on the level of like the MCU. Yes, they've started doing the spin-off stuff. Continental, for me, was an absolute failure. That was laughably bad. And this is the first sort of real spin-off of John Wick that we've got in the movie, at least. With new characters, things like that. I think Chad Stahelski should just knuckle down on this and go full on and just have him helm this universe. Much like how, James Gunn is kind of helming the universe for DC, obviously Kevin Feige for the Marvel, MCU universe. But obviously, I would love to just have Chad Stahelski also be the main component of these films. Yes, he may have to direct till he dies, but look at Matt Reeves and the way they're doing Batman. That's what I think he should do. He should just do what Matt Reeves is doing. Have a big hand in everything. Have him direct this universe and where it goes.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best bet. If he feels confident and he chooses someone to be a director, I'll trust him to pick. But if it's someone that the studio picked or someone we don't really know, then I'm not going to be too confident.
Now, look, I get what you're saying, and in an ideal world, that's what would happen for us John Wick fans. But I don't want Chad Stahelski to put his career on hold to, sort the John Wick universe out. He did 4 amazing films. I feel like his time has been served. Yes, there's talks about doing a 5th, but I want to see Chad Stahelski. I want to see his Highlander film. I think that's going to be fucking brilliant with Henry Cavill. I want to see his Ghost of Tsushima movie that he's on about making. I think that'll be great as well. I don't think he should put his career on hold for the John Wick universe. Now, granted, I bet he feels some ownership over it and it's his baby. But at the end of the day, it is Lionsgate's property. But it's just this thing that he came up with. But look, if we're holding him back and you're saying, no, you can only do John Wick, a big Chad Stahelski thing that I want to see is, they're still struggling to find a director for Blade. I want to see Stahelski do Blade. I think that'd be fucking brilliant. Punisher. That'll probably be a TV show if they end up doing that, but I'd like to see that from Stahelski. I just don't think he should put his career on hold.
I get what you're saying, and I you know what, you've kind of split my mind down the middle. I think of what I said. I would want it to go that way, but I also don't want his creativity limited because he's having to focus on it.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one because like the John Wick universe, it is quite vast. It's not as big as the MCU or the DC universe. It's weird, man. It's somewhere in the middle between like the Batman and say the MCU. It's kind of in the middle there at the moment. We've got lots of films already. We've got this one obviously coming out. I don't know. I mean, it's difficult to say. It's one of those things where it's like, why doesn't he just cap it off, finish it, and then we've got everything we need from
Which
this.
he
We've
kind
got
of
the
did.
Kane stuff, the next John Wick film. Yeah, he did, but because he came back and did reshoots for this, it's kind of like, oh, okay.
Like,
and there's talks about doing a 5th one.
What's Lionsgate going to do? Let's say the Kane movie, is finished, he wraps production, they watch it and they go, oh, Chad, will you come reshoot 80% of this movie for us, please?
Yeah.
So
it's a difficult one to say. I agree with you, but at the same time, I would love to just have him helm this universe and be his own thing.
But I get why he feels responsible as well and feels some ownership over it.
Yeah.
Because look at what happened to the Continental when they was not involved at all.
Yeah.
So they probably don't want that to happen again. But yeah, I knew there's a reason why that trailer was fucking great. It's because Chad Stahelski's reshot most of this film. So yeah. Anyway, Kyle, shall we get on to our final topic? Yes. What? Oh no. Right, guys. Before we get into this topic, I just want to say, I am not here to say restore the Snyderverse, fuck James Gunn. I am super excited for James Gunn's DC universe. Superman next year might be my second most anticipated movie of the year. I am a James Gunn fanboy through and through. I love every DC project he's done. I love every Marvel project he's done. I love all the projects he's done before that. Super is fucking hilarious. Now,
shut up, crime.
Yeah. Now that we've got that out of the way, this isn't a James Gunn hate video or all like that. So now let me speak. Me and Kyle, over the past year, have noticed that James Gunn has done a certain thing now that he's in charge of DC Studios. It's something that rather annoys us, actually, a little bit. And it's not to do with his filmmaking. It's, not to do with how he runs his studio. It's not to do with who he's casting or anything like that. It is a simple matter of, James, you need to shut your fucking mouth all the time. Look, we've got
But
two.
that was quite aggressive.
We've got two. Well, there's two examples I want to run by here right now, just so people
Yeah.
get the gist of it. Okay, we've had big Green Lantern casting news coming out lately, right? Guess who wasn't saying anything about it, and it's all turned out to be true. James Gunn kept his mouth shut. Just right. A story comes out last week. Oh, it looks like DC might be going for a middle-aged Batman for the Brave and the Bold. James Gunn tweets out, this is complete bullshit. Now, I like that he's doing this, but I dislike that he's doing it as well. He is going to get to a point where people are saying stuff to him and he's not responding, and people are going to think, well, this must happen then because he's not responding. I think it's better now if he just puts out a tweet saying, right guys, I've loved interacting with you all, but I'm going to stop. Because there's a master at doing this, and it's Kevin Feige. And he gets asked questions like that. You know, he's not really on social media, and I think James needs to pull away from that. But in interviews and stuff like that, and he'll always divert it.
Feige.
He'll Feige it, he'll divert it. But yeah, Kyle, what are your thoughts on this? You know, it's something we've been talking about for a while, but I feel like to get our thoughts fully out there, let's make a topic about it. James, I hope you see this. We love you, by the way, but you know.
You just told him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but he'd like that. He'd like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I kind of, I agree because, you know, it's almost sort of like bittersweet kind of thing. You like that these things are being sort of, you know, because we hear loads and countless rumors floating through the internet, and especially with AI these days, and you know, fake stories
look at
and
Marvel.
hate stuff.
That Denzel Washington one we just talked about could be complete bollocks. You know, it's coming from something which I trust, so maybe not, but could be complete bullshit.
I think this is done in part in a way where it's like he doesn't want to disappoint the fans. You know, you got to look at it that way too. If let's say in I don't know, Spider-Man No Way Home, Toby and Andrew didn't show up in the film, and you know, we would have been disappointed because that's all we were hearing rumors about, and it flared up, and yeah, it's good for marketing and it would have sold tickets, but if it wasn't true, then you're going to leave a lot of people sort of upset and you know, a little angry, I guess. So I get it for that aspect. If it's something wildish, you know, wildly outlandish, then okay, James Gunn, just, you know, tear it down, I guess. I think I'd be fine with that. But it can't be for literally everything, because it feels like, I get it, you're you're
co-CEO.
Yeah, of DC Studios now, and you kind of have your hands in everything. But I definitely agree with you, Callum, is that he should just take it back a sec, just like, you know, just think about it, because you're right, people are going to figure this out, people are going to theorize, and then you're going to spread even more bits and bobs, because then if you know, let's say, for example, I don't know, Batman should, you know, this is just an example, but let's say Batman is going to show up in the Superman film, and let's say people are hyping it up and talking about it, you know, it's 50-50, you know, you win or you lose with the whole situation, to be honest.
And James doesn't come out and say anything about it.
Yeah.
And people more will be like, oh, it's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or, let's say he is, and James comes out and says, this is complete bollocks, this ain't happening, and then he is in it, people aren't going to trust a fucking thing he says.
I think a good example of when you need to sort of like confirm things when it's not going to show up or whatever is like how I believe it was Matt Reeves confirmed that obviously Batman Bruce Wayne wasn't going to show up in the Penguin show.
Yeah,
I'm
fine
good
with that.
I like that. I'm fine with that. I would have loved to have seen him pop up, just, you know, maybe at the last episode or whatever.
But where the story's going right now, it doesn't seem like it needs it.
It doesn't need it. Yeah, I'm enjoying Penguin for what it is. But that's one thing I'm like, okay, I like that. That's fine. But when it comes to sort of, you know, hiding these things, it's like the big issue with Star Wars, we had, all and the Marvel shows on Disney Plus. You had all these theories, Mephisto in WandaVision, and then obviously like there was a couple of people saying Cal Kestis might show up, and all this other bits and bobs in the Star Wars projects, and none of it happened, and people were left disappointed. I get where James Gunn's coming from, I do, but at the same time, I do agree with you. He needs to hold his tongue just a bit.
Yeah.
He just needs to word it differently,
And
swerve through the question.
maybe not, maybe not just stop completely. Just maybe right up until the release of Superman, just start taking more and more and more steps back.
Yeah.
But I can imagine as well, it must be infuriating 1 year ahead of a studio, the creative part of it, and people are spreading lies out there, and you just want to go, no, that ain't right. You want to put them in the place right away and go, no, that ain't true. I get that as well. I do get where he's coming from, but from our perspective, because we are in this world, we see movie news every day, and when he comes out and shoots something down, it's like, alright, that's good. I trust James Gunn. I've got no problem with him shooting stuff down. It's just more of the fact that now that he is the head of the studio, people are taking what he says as gospel, and it is. So I just want him to take a step back, because it can leave some of that mystery there. We can have more open.
We're not saying step back from CEO or anything like that.
No.
Step back from talking
social
about
media,
Twitter, just to clarify.
And maybe every now and then when he's, let's say Superman comes out, they're doing the press junket and he's getting asked questions there, right? And then he can navigate around them in the way that Kevin Feige does. I remember Deadpool and Wolverine. Kevin Feige gets asked, "Oh, who's the anchor bean of the 616? Obviously, the MCU. That's going to wind some people off, but that's what Feige calls his Marvel Cinematic Universe. That was the question that was asked. And instead of going, oh, I can't tell you that, he sits there and he goes, I'm really glad that you asked me that question, because we came into this film with this concept of anchor beans, me, Hugh, and Ryan, and we wanted it to be a big part of the story going forward, and I'm really glad that you asked me that. Answered the question without fucking answering the question. Genius.
Do you know what else I think is fucking genius as well? Is you remember when Deadpool and Wolverine, they were still shooting it, and there was, there were all these set photos and leaks coming out.
Ryan.
And a lot of them were fake, and then Ryan Reynolds comes out and he just he puts a load of fake ones in there. Like he takes the leaked set photos and he just starts putting in random shit like the Predator and all sorts. That's the best way you can do it. I think, again, I love James Gunn for why he does it.
We can't say it enough in this video. We love James Gunn and we are so excited for his DC universe.
But for the long term, it's not going to do him any favours.
No, it's not. Because when there's something big that he needs to hide, and he doesn't say out about it, or he does say something about it, it's going to be like, he's putting himself in this sticky situation, and we love him. And I think he should just take a step back from the social media. It was great when he was a director and he was interacting with the fans. But now that he's overseeing an entire universe, I think he, But like I say, I'm not telling him what to do. This is what I'd want him to do. But at the end of the day, he's going to do what he wants to do. And James Gunn is by far more successful than I will ever be. So who am I to tell him to take a step back from social media? So, yeah.
I mean, we're all human, Humans aren't perfect, so, is what it is. But James Gunn is, near enough close to being the perfect.
You're going to wind some people up there, Kyle. You're gonna
No, I'm saying he's a fantastic guy. He's genuinely one of my favourite directors of all time. He just, every time I go to watch his film,
when he got fired from Marvel.
Yeah.
But came back, but it turns out it was probably the best thing for him, because there is no one I would rather have running DC Studios than James Gunn.
Yeah, and like we say, we're super excited for his James Gunn Super James Gunn. Super James Gunn, yeah. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
No, but you know, when they killed off the Snyderverse and everyone was shitting on James Gunn and
Yeah, I
this
was
new
sad that the
version of
Snyderverse
DC,
died, but
yeah,
I'm also not gonna say that's James Gunn's fault. James Gunn was given the tools of like, right, there you go. We want, I'm pretty sure the instructions were from DC as well. We want something fresh. Start fresh. Go in there and just, we want Marvel-esque, but different or better. And
yeah,
so, yeah, look, I'm excited for Superman. I'm excited for everything he had on that slate, the Gods and Monsters slate. So, yeah, I can't sing this man enough praises apart from get a fucking Twitter or Threads or whatever it is you use.
I mean, when he did the video though, you know, going through the Gods and Monsters stuff, I think that's the best way you can do
Do
it.
it
It's
to
just
interact
give
with
us
the fans. Yes.
yeah, it's a good premise. It's a good way to sort of like let people know that we're still doing things. We're here
Yeah.
behind the scenes. You know, that's people love that stuff. It's just, you know, when you shoot down things and you know, it can lead into these other things. Like you say, it can get people thinking, oh, he's not talking, so that must mean it's
Well,
true.
with all the Lantern stuff were happening with Josh Brolin, is it Kyle Chandler? The guy who's been cast as Jon Stewart. He didn't mention a thing. Now, I kind of get that as well, because that's people's careers. He's always said he'll never mention anything about casting a role like that, but then, with all the story stuff, he's mentioning stuff about story, which is stuff I'd rather him not talk about. It's like, because you say no to one thing, you say no to too many things, and people can kind of put together, well, this must be what's happening then. If you're not doing that, you're not doing that, you're not doing that. You're clearly going in this direction. So, yeah. Or maybe I'm just being an idiot.
No, I think you're onto something here. I really do believe. But again, we both agree we love James Gunn, and I'm super excited for his Superman film.
We need someone to do a cut.
Can't wait.
Someone needs to do a cut through this video of how many times we're going, we love James Gunn. I love James Gunn.
Yeah, no, we're massive fans, and we're so excited for his DC universe, and you know we're gonna be there opening night for all these films. We're just fanboys, and we kind of hope if James Gunn ever sees this, it's like we just want him to like hear us out, hear what we're saying.
Yeah.
You know, you could agree, disagree, whatever, that's fine. But yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, James Gunn, where's my tickets to Superman? I want them now.
I want to know.
IMAX Downkirk, still see you there much. Right, guys. That'll do us for today. Kyle, before we go, anything you want to add?
No.
Me and Kyle have picked up a severe Warhammer addiction, and it's not good for the soul. And I'm learning things, and I don't want to learn things. I'm painting miniatures. I never thought I'd do that in my life, and I'm painting miniatures, but here I am.
Getting worse by the day,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
Like I've bought 3 different brushes for my miniatures.
Yeah.
I have several paints that I don't need. I have like 3 duplicates of paints.
It's a problem, guys. All right, so
I'm constantly checking my email to see if my orders come in, even though I'm not going to paint them until probably next fucking year.
Yeah. So, guys, like and pray for our souls.
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
I'm Black Templars, by the way. He's Dark Angels.
Hell yeah.
Wondering.
Yeah, that's our chapters. Right, guys. Thanks for watching. Let us know what the best topic has been today. Let us know if you think James Gunn should keep his fucking mouth shut. Yeah.
Aggressive.
So aggressive. Right. Thanks for watching, guys. And we will see you. Me and Kyle, we're doing a list of, we've had some pretty dry news days. Not many topics. We're doing a list of topics like this that we've done right at the end of the episode that can kind of fill in them spots. So we can bring you videos when there's nothing else to talk about, because we used to be quite good at just coming up with topics and talking about stuff.
Yeah, until James Gunn keeps shooting them down. Yeah, thanks, James Gunn.
Yeah, that's half my video fucked. So yeah, right. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you when we next see you. Bye-bye.